One of the things that I was aware of when I started the business, and now more so than ever, was that I wasn't willing to give up the entirety of my life just for the sake of business, just for the sake of success, just for the sake of, making $1 million. It's an interesting question to pose that, is it still successful, even though, this business might not be the biggest or the most profitable or the fastest growing, right? And I think our lens has been skewed from our society in that if you're not the best, if you don't go the fullest, if you don't grow the biggest or the most profitable or whatever, then it's not good enough, right? And I would love to kind of repose this on people that if you're doing better tomorrow than you did yesterday, and this is outside of business, if you're better as a person than you were yesterday, isn't that success? Isn't that good enough? For me, right, I want success in all tenets of life, right? I have this, dream and this vision to be wholly successful in everything that I do, not just in one, maybe unidimensional area, right? And it's to each their own, right? There are the Bezos and the Musks of the world who have a singular focused vision on something that is out of this world, right? Clearly, with Mars. But it's going to cost them more than likely other areas of their life. But if that's the choice that you make, then awesome, right? And to each their own. For me, I want success in everything that I do in life. And so I'm getting more and more comfortable with it not having to be a 24/7, 365 drive on business and financial and success in the, definition of our society, right? When I first started the business, I gave up on everything else, right? And so sometimes there's ebb and flow and there's both sides, and it maybe it's temporary situation too. When I first started the business, I gave up on social and vacations and the relationships that I was in, right? All of that other stuff fell by the wayside, and I focused solely on building the business and growing the business, right? And I knowingly did that, and I willingly did that for the sake of getting at least to a stature where they had a real business, right? Because without that, you probably, it's going to be hard for you to create a successful business and create a successful company if you don't put everything you've got into it, right? So I also will honor the ebbs and flows or the seasons of life and business and things like this, right? And so you may find yourself in a season where you have to give it your all, or it requires that of you, right? But for me, I didn't want to run on that treadmill till the end of my life to then look back and say, well, God, what was this for, right? I don't believe with all the money anyone can amass, they're not going to bury you with it, right? I'd rather enjoy life and do other things and have great experiences and have amazing stories to tell later on in life than to have hustled, forever. To me, the question is, to what end? What for? There will always be a question of, is entrepreneurship truly for me or for you, or this is, you've got to really look at this, right? I think a lot of people, and we've talked about this in videos before, there's a sexiness around business and entrepreneurship and hustle, and I don't believe it's for everyone. There are both sides, right? There's a lot of good and there's a lot of positive, but there is also a lot of challenge and a lot of struggle, and it's something that you cannot turn off. And to the point of time, right? We all have the same 168 hours a week, whatever it is, right? But if I want to be the single best, biggest, whatever that might be, if I spend 70 to 80 hours a week doing that, I will outpace the person who puts in 40 hours a week. For me, I did that for a season to get us to where I thought was a good, reasonable stature. And then I started looking at, well, if I keep on this clip, if I keep at this pace, what does that look like for me and my physical body and my mental health and all that kind of stuff. And I decided then to pivot, right? And look at life in all of the different tenets. And that's when I started traveling and doing different experiences and ensuring that the other tenets of my life were fulfilled as well, right? I didn't just want an 11 in business and a 3 everywhere else, right? I wanted, solid 8s all the way around. And it's not set in stone and it's not permanent. I'm constantly reevaluating and looking at this vision of my life and spending time to get the puzzle pieces in place in all things, right? For most of us, we think that there's this retirement season or this vacation on the beach and the easy part. And I'm realizing more than ever that it's hard work in everything. It's hard work in all the tenets, but that's also what brings fulfillment and happiness and joy is having both sides of that coin. And that's why I think I'm posing this question, right? If we could learn to enjoy now and today and be content and be happy and be fulfilled with what we have versus always pining for bigger and better and more, wouldn't we just be happier now, right? And so isn't it still successful if it's not the biggest, the best, the most profitable, the most epic, the most Instagrammable, right? More often than not, it's a negative thought that I'm having. Oh, I could have done that. I should have done. I need to do that, right? If I can, and you can, rewire your brain to be in gratitude all the time, wake up and realize how awesome you are and how great your life is and how much gratitude you have for all the things in your life. In a funny way, wouldn't that then fuel more growth and determination and empowerment, right? Because I've hit some of those destinations. I've hit some of those places, and then I immediately went, what's next?
Right.
And forgot to even celebrate or enjoy, the journey versus the destination.